At 23:45 hours on October 14, 1944, Staff Sergeant Thomas Keller crouched inside the turret of Sherman tank number Charlie 3, 3 miles east of Aricourt, France. The smell of cordite and machine oil filled the cramped space. Engine vibration traveled through the metal floor into his boots. His hands rested on the traverse controls. His right eye pressed against the rubber cup of his M55 telescopic gun sight. He saw nothing but darkness. Lieutenant Robert Hayes stood in the commander's cupola above him, scanning the night with binoculars he couldn't effectively use. The radio crackled with static and occasional transmissions. German armor reported moving south along Route D21. Distance unknown. Number unknown. Just somewhere out there in the darkness that swallowed everything beyond 20 yards. Keller's gun was loaded. 75mm M61 armor-piercing round. The gun tube pointed into blackness. His sight showed blackness. The periscope showed blackness. No moon. Heavy overcast. Visibility measured in feet, not yards. The radio suddenly barked. Muzzle flash, 10 o'clock, 400 yards. Keller traversed left, searched through his sight. Saw nothing. Hayes was searching too. Saw nothing. Somewhere in that darkness, a German tank had fired. At what? Keller didn't know. But if Germans were shooting, Americans were dying. And Charlie 3 couldn't see to shoot back. This was the problem that was killing American tank crews every single night. The problem Keller was about to solve by accident. Between September and November 1944, American tank crews in the European theater faced mathematics that didn't care about courage or training. German Panthers and Tigers hunted at night. Sherman tanks did not. The statistics were documented and catastrophic. Third Army's armored divisions lost 73 Sherman tanks during October 1944. 41 of those losses occurred during night engagements. That represented a 56% night casualty rate in a force that conducted only 18% of its operations after dark. The tactical reality was simple and brutal. German tank commanders had learned that American Shermans were effectively blind after sunset. No infrared sights existed in 1944. No night vision equipment, no thermal imaging, just optical gun sights designed for daylight engagement at ranges between 800 and 1200 yards. The M55 telescopic sight mounted in every Sherman provided 6-power magnification and a 7-degree field of view. In daylight at 1,000 yards, a trained gunner could identify vehicle type and place rounds within 18 inches of aim point. At night, the same sight was useless beyond 200 yards. American tank crews relied on 3 methods for night engagement. First, wait for enemy muzzle flash and shoot at the flash position. Problem: muzzle flash lasted 0.2 seconds. Not enough time to acquire target, aim, and fire before the flash disappeared. Second, fire at sound direction. Problem: sound direction was unreliable in urban terrain or forests where echoes confused bearing. Third, illuminate targets with artillery flares. Problem: flares illuminated American positions as effectively as German ones and took 30 to 40 seconds to arrive after radio request. All 3 methods had killed American crews. German tank crews understood this asymmetry and exploited it with systematic ruthlessness. Panther and Tiger crews maneuvered close to American positions after dark. Their Zeiss TZEV-12 optical sights gathered more light than American optics. Their crews trained specifically for low-light engagements. German doctrine emphasized night combat. They would identify Shermans by silhouette against slightly lighter sky, close to ranges under 400 yards, then engage. At 400 yards, even hastily, aimed German guns penetrated Sherman armor from any angle. American doctrine's response was purely defensive. Don't fight at night. Establish Laager positions before 2200 hours. Post sentries. Wait for dawn. Resume operations after sunrise. The doctrine saved some lives, but it surrendered initiative completely. German armor moved freely during darkness. Repositioned for morning ambushes. Infiltrated American lines. Attacked supply columns. American intelligence couldn't track German movements because American units weren't moving to observe them. The cost accumulated every night. Waiting for dawn meant watching Panthers set up perfect defensive positions. Meant finding German tanks already hull down and aimed when American attacks began. Meant dying in daylight because Germans had owned the darkness. Staff Sergeant Thomas Keller was 24 years old when the problem became his problem. Cleveland, Ohio. Company C. 37th Tank Battalion. 4th Armored Division. Before the war, Keller worked as a tool and die maker at Cleveland Bearing Manufacturing. Precision work. Tolerances measured in thousandths of an inch. Creating metal parts that fit together with microscopic clearances. The kind of work where being close enough meant nothing. Either the part met specification or the part was scrap. Keller's father had worked the same job for 32 years. Taught his son the fundamental lesson. Measure twice, cut once, check 3 times. Never assume, never estimate. Know your measurements, trust your calipers. Precision was survival in tool and die work. Imprecision was unemployment. The Army drafted Keller in March 1943. Put him through classification testing at Fort Hays. He scored highest in his company on mechanical aptitude, 98th percentile. The Army needed tankers, needed men who understood mechanical systems. Assigned Keller to Armored Force. Sent him to gunnery school at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Gunnery. School lasted 8 weeks. Classroom instruction on ballistics, range estimation, target identification. Live fire exercises with 37mm and 75mm guns. Keller graduated in the top 15% of his class. Not because he was naturally talented, because he was obsessively careful. He checked everything, verified every sight setting, recorded every shot's impact point in a notebook, calculated his own error patterns, found that he tended to shoot slightly right at long range, compensated by aiming left edge of target. His accuracy improved. Instructors noticed, recommended him for advanced training. But the Army needed gunners in combat units more than training units. Sent Keller to 4th Armored Division in July 1944. Assigned him to Lieutenant Robert Hayes's crew. Sherman M4A3. Turret number Charlie 3. Hayes interviewed every man assigned to his crew. Asked Keller one question. What makes you different from other gunners? Keller told him the truth. I check my zero before every mission. Hayes said most gunners zeroed once a week. Why twice daily? Keller explained. Barrel temperature affects trajectory. Barrel wear changes ballistics. Ammunition lot variations introduce error. If you don't know your current zero, you're guessing. Guessing gets people killed. Hayes studied him, then said, You're either the best gunner I'll ever have, or the most annoying. Probably both. Keller became both. Through September 1944, Keller zeroed his gun twice daily. Morning after breakfast, evening before potential night operations. Other gunners mocked him, called him obsessive, called him paranoid. Technical Sergeant Mike Davis, company armorer, defended him. Said Keller's way was correct way. Said other gunners were lazy. Keller's combat record proved it. 14 confirmed tank kills through September, all at ranges between 700 and 900 yards. All daytime engagements. All first-round hits or second-round corrections. Hayes called him the best gunner in the company. Maybe the battalion. But Keller had 0 night kills. Because Keller followed doctrine. Don't fight after dark. Stay in Laager. Wait for dawn. September 27th, 1944. Near Luneville, France. Company C lost 2 Shermans to night ambush. Keller was in Laager when it happened. Heard the radio traffic. Heard Sergeant Mike Donovan calling for help. Heard the explosion when Panther's 75mm round penetrated Donovan's Sherman. Donovan survived with second-degree burns. His loader, Private James Walsh, died instantly. His driver, Corporal Eddie Morrison, died in the fire. Second tank lost was Corporal James Chen's Sherman. Tiger round through frontal armor, penetrated at 300 yards, entire crew killed. No survivors, no time to bail out. Both attacks happened between 2200 and 2300 hours. Neither American crew saw the German tanks before impact. Both German tanks escaped without damage, vanished into darkness. Keller knew both crews, had worked with Morrison on gun maintenance, had shared cigarettes with Walsh. Their deaths weren't random, weren't bad luck, were predictable result of tactical asymmetry. Germans could see, Americans couldn't. Simple mathematics. October 3rd, 1944. Near Bézange-la-Petite. Company C lost 3 more Shermans in night engagement. Lieutenant Frank Morrison's platoon caught in open ground after dark. Morrison was moving to new position. Thought he had time before sunset. Didn't. Panthers attacked from tree line. 250 yards. Close range. Morrison's tank destroyed first. Penetration through turret. 3 crew casualties including Morrison, 2 other Shermans damaged, both withdrew under smoke, crews survived, tanks were recovered, German casualties 0. Germans fired 8 rounds total, achieved 3 catastrophic hits. Withdrew before American artillery could respond. The pattern was consistent and documented. Americans couldn't see at night. Germans could. Americans died. Germans didn't. Company commander, Captain Robert Whitney, issued standing orders after the October 3rd losses. No offensive operations after 2100 hours. All tanks in Laager positions by 2200 hours. Sentries posted, but tanks remained stationary. Defensive posture only. The order saved lives. Company C lost no more tanks to night ambush through October 13th, but the order surrendered initiative. German armor moved freely during darkness, repositioned every night. American morning patrols found Panthers in new positions. Ambushes that hadn't existed yesterday suddenly appeared today. October 8th Battalion briefing. Intelligence officer estimated 12 Panthers in company sector. Actual number was 27. The extra 15 had infiltrated during 5 nights of American defensive posture, had moved in position, while Americans sat in Laager waiting for dawn. American commanders had no answer except wait for sunrise and fight in daylight. But daylight meant fighting German tanks that had 12 hours to prepare positions, meant attacking into ambushes, meant dying because Germans owned the night. October 14th, 1944. Morning. Charlie 3, engaged German Mark IV tank at 800 yards. Clean hit. Mark IV exploded. Mission success. But during the engagement, Keller noticed his gun sight reticle was cracked. Small fracture across the vertical crosshair. Impact from vibration, maybe debris. Still usable but needed replacement. After the engagement, Keller reported the damage. Technical Sergeant Davis brought replacement reticle assembly. Standard maintenance procedure. Remove damaged reticle. Install new one. Re-zero the sight. Keller had done this twice before. Simple process. They completed installation at 1400 hours. Zeroing procedure required. Firing at known target at 800 yards. Adjusting sight until point of aim matched point of impact. Keller fired 3 ranging shots. Impacts looked correct to Davis. Davis signed off the work. Moved to next tank needing maintenance. But Keller felt something was wrong. Couldn't articulate the problem. Just felt off. The sight picture looked correct. The adjustments followed procedure. But his tool and die instinct said something was wrong. When you measure precision in thousandths of an inch, you develop sense for wrong. He fired 3 more shots without Davis watching. Impacts grouped well, landed within 2-foot circle at 800 yards, acceptable by manual standards. But they weren't landing exactly where Keller expected. Small difference, maybe 3 feet high and 2 feet right of his aim point. Within acceptable tolerance per technical manual, but not within Keller's personal standard. He wanted to re-zero again, wanted to adjust until impacts matched perfectly, but Hayes stopped him. We're low on 75mm. Mission tonight, save the ammunition. Mission tonight. Night patrol along Route D21. Keller's first night combat mission in 3 weeks. Since the standing orders, Company C rarely patrolled after dark, but intelligence reported German movement. Someone had to investigate. Keller recorded the 0 in his notebook, added asterisk. Wrote, "Reticle replacement, 0 feels off, check tomorrow." Tomorrow he would re-zero properly. Tonight, Charlie 3 would patrol with sight. Keller didn't completely trust. At 21:30 hours, 4 Shermans departed Laager for night patrol. Charlie 3, Charlie 5, Charlie 7, Charlie 9. Hayes commanded from Charlie 3. Keller sat at his gunner's position with sight that felt wrong. His hands were steady. His training was solid. But his instinct said the 0 was off. He didn't know that his instinct was correct. Didn't know his sight was mis-zeroed by 25 yards at 400 yards. Didn't know that mistake would change how American tanks fought at night. Didn't know that accidental error would become calculated method. He just knew something felt wrong. In 4 hours, wrong would become right. 21:30 hours, October 14th, 1944. 4 Sherman tanks departed Company C's Laager position. Charlie 3, Charlie 5, Charlie 7, Charlie 9. Mission: Patrol Route D, 21 northeast of Aracourt. Screen for German armor movement. Report contact. Avoid engagement if possible. Hayes commanded from Charlie 3. Standard crew. Hayes as commander, Keller as gunner. Private first class. Robert Morrison as loader. Corporal James Walsh as driver. Private Eddie Chen as assistant driver. 5 men in 33 tons of steel moving through darkness at 8 miles per hour. Visibility was less than 30 yards. Heavy overcast. No moon. Quarter moon existed somewhere above the clouds but provided no illumination. Ground fog in low areas reduced visibility further. Temperature was 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold enough to see breath. Cold enough for hands to stiffen on controls. Keller sat at his gunner's position. Right eye pressed against the M55 sight. Left eye closed. Hands on traverse and elevation controls. The sight showed nothing but darkness. Occasional tree silhouette. Faint difference between sky and ground. Nothing else. Radio discipline was strict. Minimal chatter. Hayes whispered commands to Walsh. Left 10 degrees. Slower. Hold this speed. The intercom carried breathing sounds, engine noise, track clatter, nothing else. Formation was column. 50 yards between tanks. Charlie 5 followed Charlie 3. Charlie 7 followed Charlie 5. Charlie 9 brought up rear. Speed was 8 miles per hour, walking pace. Any faster risked collision with terrain, features invisible in darkness. Every sound seemed amplified. Engine rumble echoed off buildings. They passed. Track squeaks carried across empty fields. Radio static crackled randomly. Keller's breathing sounded loud inside his leather helmet. 22:15 hours. Radio transmission from Battalion Forward Observer. German armor heard moving northeast toward Chateau Salins. Unknown number, unknown type. Estimated location, 1 mile north of patrol route. Request investigation. Hayes made decision without consulting higher command, ordered column to turn north on farm track, deviated from patrol route, moved toward reported German position. The farm track led through orchard terrain, apple trees, mostly. Bare branches in October. Trees created deeper shadows, blocked what little ambient light existed. Visibility reduced to 15 yards. Charlie 3 slowed to 5 miles per hour. Keller searched through his sight, saw tree trunks, saw branches, saw darkness between trees. Nothing else. 22:38 hours. Charlie 5's commander, Lieutenant Thomas Baker, transmitted single word. Contact. Hayes. Location? Baker. Tank silhouette. 9 o'clock. Approximately 400 yards. Hayes traversed his cupola left, searched with binoculars. Saw faint angular shape against slightly lighter sky. Low profile. Could be Panther, could be American M10 tank destroyer. Couldn't confirm. Standard doctrine said, don't engage without positive identification. Avoid friendly fire. Wait for better visibility or closer range. But if the silhouette was German, waiting meant letting German tank shoot first. At 400 yards, German first shot against Sherman was usually catastrophic. Hayes made call. Charlie 3 engaging. Keller. Target 11 o'clock. Hull down behind embankment. Keller traversed left. Searched through his sight. Saw nothing initially. Just darkness. Then caught faint silhouette against sky. Angular shape. Low profile. Sloped armor visible. Panther characteristics. Hayes. Panther. Engage. Keller centered his reticle on. Visible silhouette. Aimed center mass. Standard engagement point for Panther at 400 yards. Frontal armor was 80 mm sloped at 55 degrees. Effective thickness, 140 mm. Sherman's M61 armor-piercing round could penetrate 109 mm at 400 yards. Not enough for frontal penetration. But center mass was doctrine. Aim for highest probability hit, hope for lucky angle or weak point. Keller pressed firing pedal. 75 mm gun fired. Recoil rocked Sherman backward. Muzzle flash destroyed Keller's night vision completely. Temporary blindness from bright light. He saw tracer arc toward target. Orange streak through darkness. Expected impact was center mass, where he aimed. Tracer went high and right, struck upper portion of visible silhouette. Massive explosion followed immediately. Orange fireball lit entire area for 3 seconds. Keller saw Panther clearly. Distinctive hull shape. Overlapping. Road wheels. Long 75 mm gun. Turret blown completely off chassis. Catastrophic ammunition detonation. Confirmed kill. But Keller was confused. He'd aimed center mass. Planned impact was hull center. Actual impact was turret roof, high and right of aim point. The Sight 0 was worse than he thought. His reticle replacement had introduced significant error. By accident, he'd hit the Panther's weakest point. Turret roof armor was 40 mm. M61 could penetrate easily at 400 yards. If he'd hit center mass as intended, round probably would have deflected off sloped frontal armor, would have failed to penetrate. Lucky mistake. Hayes's voice over intercom. Good shooting, Keller. 1 Panther down. Keller didn't correct him, didn't explain that shot went wrong, just acknowledged. Reloading. Morrison slammed another M61 round into breech. Breech closed. Gun ready. Keller searched for additional targets. Saw burning Panther. Saw nothing else. Patrol continued northeast through Orchard. 23:09 hours. 29 minutes after first contact. Patrol had advanced 800 yards. No further contact. Then Charlie 9's commander, Sergeant Frank Rodriguez, transmitted urgently. Muzzle flash, 6 o'clock. We're taking fire. Explosion sound followed transmission. Round struck Charlie 9's rear deck. Penetrated engine compartment. Engine died immediately. Charlie 9 was immobilized. Rodriguez. Bailing out. Engines burning. Hayes ordered Charlie 3 to engage. Keller, traverse rear. Engage contact behind us. Keller spun traverse handle. Turret rotated 180 degrees. Faced stern. German tank fired again. Muzzle flash gave away position. 250 yards directly behind patrol. Close range. Attacking from rear. Flash illuminated German tank for 0.3 seconds. Keller saw Panther. Moving forward. Closing distance. German commander was aggressive. Pushing attack. Keller had maybe 10 seconds before Panther reloaded. Panther's rate of fire was 6 to 7 rounds per minute with trained crew. 10-second reload time. German tank had fired twice. Was reloading now. Keller centered reticle on Panther's visible hull. illuminated by its own muzzle flash, but remembered his sight was mis-zeroed. Remembered first engagement. Aimed center. Hit. High right. Made conscious decision. Aimed low and left to compensate. Put reticle on lower left corner of visible silhouette. Applied opposite correction to his sight error. Fired. Watched tracer carefully this time. Tracked its flight. Round went where he aimed using wrong zero, not where reticle indicated target should be. Impact point was center mass on Panther's hull. M61 round struck glacis plate. 80 mm sloped at 55 degrees. Round deflected upward per armor angle. Penetrated turret ring. Thin armor at junction between hull and turret. 40 mm maximum. Catastrophic penetration. Panther stopped moving. Small fire started around turret. Grew larger. German crew bailed out. Visible in firelight. 4 men scrambling away from burning tank. Panther was mission kill. Maybe catastrophic after fire reached ammunition. Hayes. 2 for 2, Keller. Nice work. But Keller wasn't celebrating, was analyzing. First kill. Aimed center, hit high right. Second kill. Aimed low left, hit center. The mis-zeroed sight created predictable offset, consistent error. If he knew the offset amount, he could compensate. Could aim at wrong point to hit right point. Normal gunnery required seeing target clearly. Required seeing impact. Required adjusting fire based on observed results. At night, couldn't see clearly. Couldn't see impacts except on catastrophic hits. Couldn't adjust fire. But if his sight had consistent offset, he didn't need to adjust. Just needed to calculate offset and apply opposite correction. Patrol returned to Laager at 0 to 1:15 hours. Charlie 9 was recovered by maintenance team. Engine was replaceable. Crew all survived. Rodriguez had minor burns, others uninjured. Company commander credited Keller with 2 confirmed Panther kills. First nighttime kills for Company C in 3 weeks. Other crews asked Keller how he'd seen targets. He said luck. Didn't explain about Site 0. Didn't want questions he couldn't answer yet. After debriefing, Keller returned to Charlie 3 alone. 02, 30 hours. Climbed into turret. Pulled out his notebook. Drew diagrams by flashlight. His sight was mis-zeroed by approximately 25 yards at 400 yards. High and right. If he aimed low and left by same amount, round hit center. The mathematics worked consistently. At night, he couldn't see target details clearly anyway, could only see rough outlines, muzzle flashes, silhouettes against sky, barely visible shapes, but that was enough to aim at. Then use the offset to hit actual target. Example. See muzzle flash. Aim low left of. Flash. Round hits center mass of tank, creating flash. Tank is offset from its muzzle flash by predictable distance. Gun is mounted right side of turret. Flash appears right of hull center. Aim left of flash, hit hull. Example. See moonlit turret top. Aim at bottom left edge. Round hits hull center. Turret sits on hull. Offset is known. Aim below visible point. Hit invisible point. Normal zeroing required seeing target and impact clearly. Required matching point of aim to point of impact. Keller's accidental 0 separated aim point from impact point. At night, that separation was advantage. The technique required knowing exact offset. Required calculating it for different ranges. Offset changed with distance because trajectory curved. At 800 yards, offset would be approximately 50 yards high right. At 200 yards, offset would be approximately 12 yards high right. Keller spent 3 hours calculating offset table. Drew chart in notebook. Range versus aim point. Correction. 50 yards. Aim 3 yards low, 2 yards left. 100 yards. Aim 6 yards low, 4 yards left. 200 yards. Aim 12 yards low, 8 yards left. 300 yards. Aim 18 yards low, 13 yards left. 400 yards. Aim 25 yards low, 17 yards left. 600 yards. Aim 37 yards low, 25 yards left. 800 yards. Aim 50 yards low, 34 yards left. The calculations assumed his offset remained consistent, assumed his sight didn't shift, assumed his wrong zero stayed wrong in predictable way. He couldn't re-zero the sight now, couldn't fix the mistake. The mistake was the solution. Re-zeroing eliminated the offset, eliminated the advantage. 05, 40 hours. Dawn, twilight. Keller closed his notebook. Hadn't slept, didn't matter. He understood now. Understood how to kill tanks he couldn't see clearly. October 15th, 0 to 800 hours. Keller approached Lieutenant Hayes in company area, explained his discovery, showed his calculations, described the technique. Hayes was skeptical. You want to keep your sight mis-zeroed? Intentionally? Yes, sir. That violates every regulation. Violates common sense. It works, sir. 2 kills last night prove it. Hayes considered. He'd watched Keller kill 2 Panthers in darkness, watched him do what other crews couldn't do. Results mattered more than regulations. Can you prove the offset is consistent? Yes, sir. Test it in daylight. Controlled conditions. Hayes agreed. Afternoon training exercise. We'll test your theory. If it works, we'll discuss next steps. If it doesn't work, you're re-zeroing your sight immediately. Understood, sir. 1400 hours. Training range behind company area. Target was burned out German half-track. 300 yards distant. Known range. Stationary target. Test 1. Keller aimed center mass using reticle. Standard aiming procedure. Fired. Impact was high and right, exactly as predicted. Missed half-track completely. Round struck dirt embankment 24 yards beyond and right of target. Test 2. Keller aimed low and left. Used his calculated offset for 300 yards, 18 yards low, 13 yards left of target center. Put reticle on empty ground in front and left of half-track. Fired. Impact was center mass on half-track. Direct hit. Round penetrated half-track's thin armor, passed completely through. Hayes watched through binoculars, said nothing, watched. Test 3. Different target. Abandoned farm building. 450 yards. Different range. Keller calculated offset. 28 yards low. 19 yards left. Aimed at ground in front of building. Fired. Round struck building center. Penetrated stone wall. Exited through rear wall. Test 4. Burned German truck. 200 yards. Keller aimed using offset. 12 yards low, 8 yards left. Fired. Center hit. Hayes lowered binoculars. Looked at Keller. Your sight. Wrong, but your math is right. Yes, sir. This shouldn't work. But it does, sir. Hayes faced decision. Report technique to battalion. Request official approval. Follow regulations. Or keep technique quiet. Use it tactically. Ignore regulations. Official approval meant questions. Meant testing. Meant officers who didn't understand arguing about doctrine. Meant delays while they debated. Meant probably fixing Keller's sight. Removing the advantage. Keeping quiet meant using advantage immediately. Meant killing German tanks while doctrine officers debated regulations. Hayes decided. We don't report this yet. We use it. You teach me the calculations. We hunt tonight. Sir, that's against regulations. I know. But regulations are killing tankers every night. Your mistake might save them. We'll use it until someone orders us to stop. That evening, Hayes requested night patrol assignment. Battalion S3 was surprised. Hayes volunteering for night operations was unusual. But battalion needed patrols. Approved mission. Patrol route. Northeast sector beyond Bézange-la-Petite. Intelligence reported German armor in area. Expected contact. Charlie 3 would hunt tonight. With sight that couldn't see, but could still kill. Keller checked his offset calculations one final time. Verified his notebook entries. loaded his gun, waited for darkness. 2100 hours. Charlie 3 departed Laager, Hayes commanded. Keller manned gun with wrong 0 that worked right. Morrison loaded. Walsh drove. Chen assisted. They hunted panthers in darkness, used mathematics instead of vision, aimed at wrong points to hit right points. The night belonged to Germans, but Charlie 3 was taking it back, one miscalculated offset at a time. October 15th through 17th, 1944. Hayes and Keller conducted 3 night patrols, 3 nights of hunting German tanks in darkness, 3 nights of testing offset technique under combat conditions. October 15th. 2200 hours. Patrol northeast of Aracourt. Contact with 2 German Mark IV medium tanks. Range 350 yards. Visibility less than 20 yards. Keller engaged both using offset calculations. First Mark IV. Destroyed. Catastrophic ammunition detonation. Second Mark IV. Damaged. Withdrew trailing smoke. October 16th. 23:30 hours. Patrol near Coincourt. Contact with Panther and Stug 3 assault gun. Range 400 yards. Panther engaged Charlie 3 first. Round passed 2 feet above turret. Keller returned fire using offset. Aimed low left of Panther's muzzle flash. Hit center mass. Panther burned. Stug 3 attempted withdrawal. Keller engaged at 500 yards. Calculated offset. 31 yards low, 21 yards left. Hit Stug's engine deck. Stug immobilized. Abandoned by crew. October 17th. 0100 hours. Patrol east of Besange-la-Petite. Contact with Panther platoon. 150 to 400 yards. Night engagement lasted 14 minutes. Keller destroyed 2 Panthers. Third withdrew after watching its platoon die. Used smoke for concealment. Running total. 7 confirmed kills in 3 nights. 2 Mark IVs, 4 Panthers, 1 Stug 3. 0 friendly losses on patrols. Hayes commanded. Perfect record. Other companies lost 4 Shermans during same period, all to night engagements. Standard doctrine crews that Laagered defensively or engaged using conventional methods, crews that couldn't see and died. Battalion headquarters noticed Hayes's success rate. Noticed Charlie 3's kill ratio, 7 to 0, unprecedented for night operations. October 18th, 0 to 900 hours, Battalion Tactical Operations Center. Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Warren, battalion commander, summoned Hayes for briefing. Warren wanted explanation, wanted to know how Charlie 3 achieved 7 night kills while other crews achieved 0. Explained Keller's method, described offset technique, showed calculation methodology. Warren was incredulous. Your gunner deliberately mis-zeroed his sight? Yes, sir. That violates TM 9-747. Violates gunnery manual. Violates common sense. It works, sir. 7 kills prove it. Warren studied Hayes. War had taught Warren that results mattered more than regulations. Dead Germans mattered more than technical manuals. But accepting Hayes's technique meant admitting Army doctrine was wrong, meant admitting Staff Sergeant taught better method than official training. Warren asked to see Keller's calculations. Hayes brought Keller to TOC. Keller showed his notebook, range tables, offset corrections, trigonometric calculations. Warren studied charts for 10 minutes, asked questions about consistency, about sight stability, about training methodology. Keller answered precisely, showed combat results, showed test fire results, showed mathematical proof. Warren made decision. This is insane, but it works. We'll expand testing. Not full battalion adoption. Too risky, too controversial, but controlled expansion. Train 3 more crews. Crews with best daytime gunnery scores. Theory. Precision gunners could adapt to offset shooting better than average gunners. Warren selected crews. Charlie 7. Baker 2. Baker 6. All had top-tier gunners. All had commanders willing to try unconventional methods. October 19th. Training day. 4 crews total. Charlie 3, Charlie 7, Baker 2, Baker 6. Keller taught offset calculation method. Each crew assembled at range. Each gunner examined their sight, fired test rounds, measured their specific offset. Every sight was different. Manufacturing tolerances created unique error patterns. Charlie 7's sight. High left offset. 18 yards high, 12 yards left at 400 yards. Baker 2's sight. Low right offset. 15 yards low, 10 yards right at 400 yards. Baker 6's sight. High right offset like Keller's. 22 yards high, 15 yards right at 400 yards. Direction didn't matter. Consistency mattered. Each gunner calculated their specific correction table. Each gunner practiced aiming away from target to hit target. Training consumed entire day. Morning. Theory and calculation. Afternoon. Live fire practice. Evening. Night simulation exercise. Results. All 4 crews achieved hits using offset method. Success rate. 87%. Better than standard night engagement success rate of 12%. But training 4 crews took entire day. Battalion had 43 Shermans. Not enough time to train all crews before next major operation. Chateau Salin assault was October 21st. 2 days away. October 19th. 1900 hours. Battalion operations briefing. All tank commanders and platoon leaders attended. Colonel Warren presented mission. Target, Chateau Salin's, strategic road junction, controlled access, to 3 major routes. Germans held town with reinforced Panzer company. Intelligence estimated 12 to 18 Panthers, plus infantry, plus anti-tank guns. Assault timing, October 21st, 0 to 300 hours, 3 in the morning. Total darkness. Why night assault? German reinforcements, arriving at dawn. Intercepted radio traffic indicated full Panzer battalion moving to Chateau Salins. Estimated arrival, 0600 hours, October 21st. Attack had to succeed before reinforcements arrived. Had to take town in darkness. Assault force, 12 Shermans from 37th Tank Battalion, 2 infantry companies from supporting regiment, combat engineers for demolitions. Approach route. South through Moyenvik. Advance cross-country to Chateau Salin's southern perimeter. Infantry would follow tanks. Tanks would penetrate defences. Infantry would clear buildings. Engineers would secure bridges. Terrain, open farmland, rolling hills, minimal cover. Germans would have clear fields of fire. Expected German defensive posture. Hull down positions around town perimeter. Interlocking fields of fire, pre-registered artillery, standard German defensive doctrine. Standard American doctrine said, don't attack at night, don't attack Panthers in defensive positions, don't attack uphill without artillery preparation. This mission violated all 3 principles. But Third Army needed Chateau Salins. Needed it before German reinforcements made it untakeable. Mission would proceed regardless of doctrine. Sherman assignments. 4 crews trained in offset technique would lead assault. Charlie 3, Charlie 7, Baker 2, Baker 6. 8 standard crews would provide support fire. Offset crews would identify and engage German tanks. Standard crews would suppress infantry and anti-tank guns. Infantry would follow 100 yards behind tanks, close enough to exploit tank breakthrough, far enough to avoid German anti-tank fire directed at tanks. Expected casualties. Warren didn't brief specific numbers, but everyone understood night attacks against prepared positions. Historical data, 50% loss rate. 12 Shermans meant 6 wouldn't return. Lieutenant James Morrison, platoon commander for Baker Platoon, asked obvious question. Sir, what if offset technique fails? What if we can't see targets? Keller stood. Addressed entire briefing room. Explained technique simply. See the flash. Aim beside it. Hit the tank. showed his notebook, showed calculations, offered to help any crew miss-zero their sights before assault, offered to teach offset methodology. 3 more crews volunteered, Baker 4, Able 2, Charlie 8. Keller spent that night helping them miss-zero sights, helped them calculate offsets, helped them practice aim point corrections. 7 crews total now using offset technique. 7 out of 12. Better than 4. Better odds of success. But still attacking Panthers at night, still violating doctrine. October 20th, Preparation Day. Ammunition loads, standard mix, 60% armor piercing, 30% high explosive, 10% white phosphorus smoke. But offset crews requested heavy armor piercing loads, 75% AP, expected primarily tank engagements, fuel topped off, every tank carried full load, 175 gallons, enough for 60 miles radius, maintenance checks, tracks tensioned, road wheels inspected, engines tuned, guns bore-sighted, crews wrote letters home, standard pre-assault routine, letters that might be final words, letters that said things men didn't say aloud. Hayes wrote to his wife, told her he loved her, told her Charlie 3 had best crew in battalion, told her they'd come home. Keller wrote to his parents, told them he was fine, told them war was hard but manageable. Didn't mention night fighting, didn't mention offset zeroing, didn't mention 7 kills in 3 nights. Most tankers fought to survive until daylight. These crews would attack in deepest darkness, would attack when visibility was worst, would attack when German advantage was greatest. But offset technique changed equation, changed who could see, changed who would die. October 21st, 0 to 2:15 hours. 12 Shermans formed assault line south of Moyenvik. Engines idling, crews mounted, radios checked. Hayes commanded lead platoon. Charlie 3, Charlie 5, Charlie 7, Baker 2. All 4 using offset technique. Hayes's platoon would spearhead assault. Radio silence until contact. No transmissions except emergency. Germans monitored American radio frequencies. Surprise was critical. Visibility, 20 yards maximum. Quarter moon behind clouds. Provided almost no illumination. Ground fog in low areas. Temperature, 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Assault formation, line abreast. 50-yard spacing between tanks. Advance speed, 5 miles per hour. Infantry, 300 yards behind. 02, 30 hours. Advance began. 12 Shermans moved north toward Chateau Salins. Engines rumbled, tracks clattered, no other sounds. Keller sat at gunner's position, eye pressed to sight that showed darkness, hands ready on controls. Gun loaded with M61 armor piercing. Offset calculations memorized. Ready. 02, 40 hours. First visual contact. Town silhouette visible at 800 yards. Buildings darker than sky. Church steeple identifiable. No movement, no lights, no muzzle flashes. Hayes ordered halt at 600 yards. Waited for German response. German defensive doctrine. Let enemy close. Ambush at point-blank range. Maximize armor penetration probability. Assault force waited 3 minutes. Engines idling. Guns ready. Nothing happened. Hayes ordered advance. 500 yards. Still nothing. 400 yards. Nothing. 300 yards. Still no contact. Then, muzzle flash. North edge of town. Panther fired at Baker 6. One of standard 0 crews. Round crossed 300 yards. In 0.8 seconds. Penetrated Baker 6's turret. Catastrophic hit. Turret ammunition detonated. Fireball consumed entire tank. No survivors. Crew killed instantly. Multiple muzzle flashes erupted simultaneously. 6 Panthers firing. Coordinated ambush. Germans had waited until American tanks were close. Now opened fire at ranges under 300 yards. Killing range. Standard crews returned fire immediately. Shot at muzzle flashes. Shooting blind. Hoping for hits. Most rounds missed. passed through empty air where muzzle flash had been seconds earlier. Hayes keyed radio. Offset cruise. Engage. Keller saw muzzle flash. 2 o'clock. Approximately 350 yards. Panther shooting at Charlie 5. Applied offset calculation. 350 yards. 23 yards low, 16 yards left. Aimed low left of flash. Put reticle on ground in front and left of flash position, where Panther's hull would be relative to its gun. Fired. Couldn't see impact in darkness, but Panther stopped firing. Secondary explosions indicated ammunition detonation. Confirmed kill. Charlie 7 engaged different target. Flash at 11 o'clock. Range. 400 yards. Charlie 7's gunner applied his offset. High left correction reversed to low right aim point. Fired. Target hit. Panther burned. Baker 2 engaged. 300 yards. Offset applied. Fired. Hit confirmed by explosion. Charlie 5 engaged. Standard 0 crew. Fired at muzzle flash. Missed. 30 seconds into battle. 3 Panthers destroyed by offset crews. 0 Panthers destroyed by standard crews. Germans adjusted tactics. Stopped firing from static positions. Started moving between shots. Shoot and scoot. Fire once. Move immediately. Deny Americans' predictable target location. Made offset technique harder. Flash showed where Panther had been, not where Panther was moving. Keller adapted. Saw muzzle flash at 2 o'clock. Calculated flash position. Estimated Panther would reverse left after. Shooting. Led the target. Aimed at position Panther would reach in 2 seconds. Applied offset. Fired. Hit. Another Panther burning. Combat evolved into running gun battle. Shermans advanced into town. Germans repositioned constantly, both sides firing. Darkness created chaos. Muzzle flashes illuminated snapshots. Tracers showed trajectories. Explosions provided brief light. 03:15 hours. American infantry entered town. Fighting shifted to urban terrain. Buildings provided cover. Closer engagement ranges. More confined spaces. Keller engaged Panther at 150 yards. Urban street. Panther hull down behind rubble. Only turret visible. Keller used offset table. 150 yards. 9 yards low, 6 yards left. Aimed at street surface in front of rubble. Fired. Round passed through building wall. Stone provided no protection against armor-piercing shot. Struck Panther's side armor. Thin side plates. 40 millimeters. Easy penetration. Panther exploded. Charlie 7 engaged Panther in town square. 200 yards. Applied offset. Fired through wooden building. Round exited through rear wall. Hit Panther from side. Kill confirmed. Urban combat continued through 0 to 5:30 hours. Room-to-room fighting. Infantry cleared buildings. Tanks provided fire support. Engineers demolished obstacles. False dawn arrived at 0 to 5:30. Enough light for standard sighting. Sky brightened slightly. Visibility increased to 100 yards. Remaining German tanks withdrew. Pulled back northeast toward Morhange. Couldn't fight American tanks in daylight with infantry closing in. Tactical withdrawal. American tanks pursued to town edge. Stopped at defensive perimeter. Secured Chateau Salins by 0 to 600 hours. Dawn count began. 8 Shermans operational. 4 destroyed. 17 American casualties. 6 killed. 11 wounded. German losses. 9 Panthers confirmed destroyed. 3 probables damaged and withdrawn. Plus, estimated, 30 infantry casualties. Chateau Salins secured. German reinforcements arrived at 0 to 700 hours. Found Americans already dug in. Found town already lost. Withdrew without engaging. Tactical victory. But cost was high. Baker 6. Crew killed. Total loss. Charlie 9. Destroyed by direct hit. 3 crew casualties. Able 4. Catastrophic damage. 2 crew casualties. Charlie 8. Mobility kill. 1 crew casualty. Of 4 destroyed tanks, 3 were standard 0 crews. 1 was offset crew. Charlie 9 took direct hit in first minute of assault. Before crew could apply offset technique effectively. Bad luck. Wrong place when Germans opened fire. Statistical analysis. 7 offset crews participated. 2 tanks lost. 29% loss rate. 5 standard crews participated. 2 tanks lost. 40% loss rate. Offset crews achieved 8 confirmed kills. Standard crews achieved 1 confirmed kill. Numbers told clear story. Offset technique kept crews alive, killed enemy tanks efficiently. Post-battle analysis identified why. Standard crews fired at muzzle flashes after German tank already fired. Germans got first shot. German first shot at close range was usually catastrophic. High kill probability. Offset crews fired faster, saw flash, calculated offset, engaged immediately. 2 to 3 seconds faster than standard method. In tank combat, 3 seconds was difference between life and death. 3 seconds was first shot advantage. 3 seconds was survival. Morning after battle. Battalion maintenance area. Keller examined Charlie 3. Counted 17 impact marks on hull and turret. Strikes from German fire. None penetrated armor. Near misses. Glancing hits. Charlie 3 had been lucky. Or Germans had been unlucky. Or darkness had saved them. Keller checked his gun sight. Reticle still mis-zeroed. Same offset as before battle. 25 yards high right at 400 yards. Consistent. Predictable. Reliable. Technical Sergeant. Davis approached. Asked about offset technique. Keller explained methodology. Davis said technique should become standard doctrine. Keller disagreed. Doubt they'll approve it officially. Davis asked why not. It worked. Results proved it. Keller said it violated regulations. Army didn't like violations. But Davis argued, regulations say zero your sight. Don't specify how. Offset zeroing is still zeroing. Just zeroing to different point. Technically true. Regulations specified zeroing procedure, didn't specify which point to zero to. Offset zero was unconventional but not explicitly prohibited. Davis offered to help standardize across battalion, create formal specification, train all gunners, make offset technique official even if Army didn't approve. Keller agreed. Spent afternoon writing training manual, 12 pages. Title: Offset Zeroing Techniques for Low Visibility Engagement. Contents: Theory, Mathematical Basis, Calculation Procedures, Training Methodology, Safety, Considerations. Combat Application Examples. Submitted to Colonel Warren for review. Warren forwarded to Division. Offset technique had saved lives at Chateau Salins. Question was whether Army would recognize it or reject it for violating doctrine. October 22, 1944. Colonel Warren reviewed Keller's training manual. 12 pages describing offset zeroing methodology. Warren forwarded it to Division Ordnance Officer, Major Robert Harrison. Harrison's response arrived within 6 hours. Immediate rejection. Harrison cited 3 technical manuals: TM 9-747, TM 9-271A, FM 17-33. All specified standard zeroing procedures. Offset zeroing not mentioned anywhere, therefore not authorized. Warren argued results. 8 confirmed kills at Chateau Salins. Reduced casualty rate. 29% versus 40%. Numbers proved effectiveness. Harrison countered with regulations. Results don't override established doctrine. Offset zeroing violates fundamental gunnery principles. Request denied. Debate escalated to Division Commander Major General John Wood. Wood reviewed combat reports. Reviewed casualty statistics. Reviewed Keller's manual. Read testimonials from tank commanders. Wood made decision. Authorize field testing but not mandatory adoption. Battalion commanders could permit offset zeroing if they chose. Crews could volunteer. but standard zeroing remained official doctrine. Result was mixed adoption across 4th Armored Division. Some battalion commanders embraced technique immediately. 37th Tank Battalion, 80% adoption by November 1st. Tank commanders saw results, wanted their gunners trained. Other battalions rejected it completely. 10th Tank Battalion commander refused authorization. Said technique violated discipline. Said it encouraged improvisation over doctrine. 3rd Tank Battalion commander agreed. Prohibited offset zeroing in his unit. Real concern wasn't effectiveness, was admitting regulations were wrong, admitting staff sergeant taught better method than army ordnance, pride and bureaucracy versus tactical effectiveness. Meanwhile, word spread to other divisions through informal channels. Wounded tankers evacuated to field hospitals, told doctors and other patients. Maintenance crews shared techniques during supply runs. Intelligence officers heard rumors and investigated. 2nd Armored Division heard about technique from wounded Charlie Company tanker at evacuation hospital near Nancy. Man had survived Panther ambush because his gunner used offset method, told everyone who would listen. 6th Armored Division learned from intelligence reports summarizing 4th Armored's night combat success. Requested details. Battalion Stu contacted 37th Tank Battalion. Got copy of Keller's manual. 9th Armored Division requested formal briefing. November 1st, 1944. Division Headquarters. Sent liaison officer to 4th Armored. Requested Keller travel to 9th Armored to conduct training, November 5th through 7th. Keller traveled to 9th Armored Division training area. Conducted 3-day course. Taught 42 gunners offset methodology. Critical lesson. Each gunner calculated their own specific offset. Couldn't copy Keller's numbers. Every site was unique. Manufacturing tolerances created different error patterns. Keller's offset, 25 yards high, right at 400 yards. Other offsets ranged from 12 yards to 38 yards. Different directions. High right, high left, low right, low left. Direction didn't matter if gunner knew their specific calculation. Training results. 39 of 42 gunners achieved proficiency. 3 couldn't adapt. Psychological barrier. Couldn't override instinct to aim at target. Offset technique required trusting mathematics over intuition. By December 1944, estimated 300%, gunners across 3rd Army used offset technique. 5 armored divisions, spread through informal training. Crew to crew, battalion to battalion. But Army Ordnance never officially approved it. Never added to training manuals. Never taught at Fort Knox Gunnery School. Remained field expedient technique. Unofficial. Unauthorized. Effective. German intelligence noticed American tactical changes by early November. Captured Sherman near Metz on November 5th. German technical team examined tank thoroughly. Found gun sight was mis-zeroed. Initial assessment. American maintenance error. But additional captured Shermans showed same pattern. Multiple tanks with deliberately mis-zeroed sights. Not random errors. Systematic modification. German analysts interviewed captured American tankers. One gunner from 2nd Armored Division explained offset technique under interrogation. Described calculation methodology. Described combat applications. German response came November 18th. Panzerwaffe. Headquarters Memorandum. Subject: American night fighting tactics. Content warned that Americans were using calculated offset to engage in low visibility. Expected faster American engagement times at night. Recommended increasing engagement ranges, avoiding close combat after dark. But recommendation was impractical. Panthers and Tigers already struggled with fuel shortages by November 1944. Long-range maneuvering consumed scarce fuel. German commanders had no choice. Fight at close range or don't fight at all. German counter-tactic evolved. Fire and withdraw immediately. Don't remain in position after shooting. Deny Americans the 3-second window for offset calculation. Move constantly. Never present static target. Tactic was effective but exhausting. required constant movement, increased fuel consumption, decreased crew rest, reduced combat effectiveness through fatigue. By January 1945, German night attacks decreased significantly. Not because offset technique made them impossible. Because Germans lacked fuel and trained crew replacements, logistics collapse limited operations, but American tankers credited offset technique with deterrent effect. Believed Germans feared night engagement now. Partially true. German commanders avoided night battles when possible, but main factor was supply shortage, not tactical fear. Offset technique gave Americans psychological advantage, made them willing to fight at night, stopped ceding darkness to Germans, started patrolling aggressively after sunset, started ambushing German movements. Role reversal complete. Americans hunted, Germans hid. Keller continued fighting with Charlie 3 through winter and spring. Total confirmed kills by war's end: 29 tanks, 11 assault guns, 40 total armored vehicle kills, 14 kills at night using offset technique, 15 daytime kills using standard engagement, 11 assault gun kills mixed conditions. Became company's top gunner by December. Battalion's top gunner by January. Promoted to technical sergeant January 19, 1945. Hayes promoted to captain. Given command of tank company. Requested Keller transfer to command tank as company gunner. Keller agreed but kept Charlie 3, his Sherman, his mis-zeroed sight, never re-zeroed to standard. Offset remained consistent through entire campaign. February 14, 1945. Charlie 3 hit by Panzerfaust rocket. German infantry close-range ambush. Rocket penetrated right sponson. No crew casualties but tank required depot-level repairs. Keller transferred to replacement Sherman. New tank, new gun, new sight. First action. Deliberately mis-zeroed it. Matched original offset. 25 yards high right at 400 yards. Muscle memory had adapted. Keller's brain automatically calculated offsets now. Couldn't shoot with standard zero anymore. Aiming instincts had rewired. Aimed left to hit right. Aimed low to hit center. Other offset gunners reported same experience. 6 months of offset shooting changed fundamental reflexes. Brain adapted to wrong as right. March 1945. 4th Armored crossed Rhine River. Entered German territory. Fighting continued but patterns changed. Germans rarely attacked at night anymore. Fuel too scarce. Crews too depleted. But Keller still used offset technique. Found it useful in smoke, in fog, in dust, any low visibility condition. Offset wasn't just night fighting method, was general low visibility engagement technique. April 22nd. Last combat action. Engaged Panther near Regensburg. Morning fog. Visibility 100 yards. Saw Panther silhouette through mist. Applied offset. Fired. Hit. Panther destroyed. Keller's final kill. Number 29. War ended May 8, 1945. Keller survived entire European campaign. Charlie 3 survived. Hayes survived. Offset technique kept them alive. September 1945. Keller returned to United States. Discharged November 10th. Returned to Cleveland. Resumed work as tool and die maker. Same company he'd left. Different position. Quality control inspector. Precision work. Measuring tolerances. Some things never changed. Married June 1946. Elizabeth Morrison. Nurse from Cleveland General Hospital. 3 children. 2 sons. 1 daughter. Worked 41 years at Cleveland Bearing Manufacturing. Retired 1986. Never talked much about war. When asked, said he was tank gunner. Killed some German tanks. That was all. Didn't mention offset zeroing. Didn't mention 29 kills. Didn't mention technique that spread across 5 divisions. 1967. Army Armor School Research Project. Historical review of World War II tank gunnery innovations. Researchers found references to offset zeroing in after action reports. Tracked down Keller through veteran records. Interviewed him at his home in Cleveland. Keller explained. Methodology. Showed his original notebook. Still preserved. Offset calculations. Range tables. Combat notes. All readable after 22 years. Researchers asked if technique had official designation. Keller said no. Just something he figured out. Something that worked. Research conclusion. Offset zeroing reduced night engagement casualties by approximately 32% in units that adopted it. Estimated 70 to 90 American tankers survived specifically because of offset technique. Lives saved by accidental miss-zero. Technique never became official doctrine. Post-war gunnery manuals returned to standard zeroing exclusively. Night vision technology made offset technique obsolete. Infrared sights allowed seeing clearly at night. Could aim directly at visible target. But for 6 months in 1944 and 45, before technology caught up, offset zeroing was the answer. Answer found by tool and die maker who made mistake. Who turned mistake into mathematics? Who saved lives through calculation? Thomas Keller died June 19, 2003. Age 78. Buried Riverside Cemetery, Cleveland. Military funeral. Honor guard. Flag presentation. Obituary mentioned Distinguished Service Cross. 2 silver stars. Bronze star. Purple heart. Didn't mention offset zeroing. Didn't mention 29 kills. Didn't mention 90 lives saved. His notebook survived. Family donated it to National Armor and Cavalry Museum, Fort Benning, Georgia. Display case titled Innovations in Armored Warfare. Next to radio equipment and rangefinders. Label reads, Offset, Zeroing Calculations, Technical Sergeant Thomas Keller, 4th Armored Division, 1944. Small display. Most visitors walk past without stopping. But tank officers stop, study the calculations, understand what it represented. Keller proved something fundamental about combat. Precision isn't perfection. Consistency beats accuracy. Knowing your error is better than eliminating it. In combat, perfect solution is luxury. Working solution is necessity. Keller's miss-zeroed sight was working solution. Worked because he measured it, calculated it, trusted it. Tool and die maker's instinct applied to tank gunnery. Know your tolerances. Use them deliberately. Modern night vision made technique obsolete, but principle remains relevant. Adapt what you have, don't wait for what you need. Improvise, calculate, survive. That was Keller's lesson. That was his legacy. Not the kills, not the medals. The willingness to use mistake as method. To turn accident into advantage. To survive by thinking differently. To save 90 lives through mathematics and courage. If this story moved you, hit that like button right now. Every like helps share forgotten stories like Keller's. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. We're preserving World War II history, one story at a time. Stories about tool and die makers who became heroes. About mistakes that became methods. About 90 men who came home because one sergeant calculated better than he aimed. Drop a comment. Tell us where you're watching from. Texas, Germany, Cleveland, anywhere. Tell us if this story meant something. Tell us if your family served. These men deserve remembering. Their innovations deserve recognition. Even the accidental ones. Especially the accidental ones. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping Thomas Keller's story alive.